My name is Paul. I am an XR artist. Tell me, please, about you. Your
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I am a technical artist. I'm from Athens, Greece, and I'm still working remotely from here. I'm currently working with a UK studio named Jumpship. I'm working on the first project, which is Soberville, a really nice game, which is gonna release. I also do some VFX on the side as well, though my background is actually based on computer science. So like I went to uni and started learning like actual programming. I have like a bachelor's in informatics and telecommunications, but I was always like interested more in the visual arts, and I taught myself 3D. Was or wanted to be a technical artist without even knowing that was a thing, because I enjoyed both like the concept of writing code and a creative process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I kind of ended up doing what I currently do. And yeah, when I figured out about shaders and what they do, essentially how they work, I essentially found my calling, because it was exactly what I wanted to do, to essentially make pretty things but using code. Wanted to share whatever I learned, because especially at the time, shaders were like a really niche subject that nobody knew anything about, and you couldn't find any tutorials in one place. You could just find like fragments in different places. So even if I was bad at it, the moment I started learning about shaders, I also started making tutorials about them, because I knew that people would probably also want to get into it, and wouldn't have them. I wouldn't want to have them like go through whatever I went through. So now I still keep trying to make tutorials, even though my time is a bit limited. And I also, every Friday, I kind of have like a weekly collection of interesting tweets around, it's around game development, technical art, VFX, anything. It's called Technically Out.
Yeah.
And it's mostly a way, well, it started as a way for me to just keep links handy, but it got out of hand quick, because now like we're like at 112 issues. A nice little weekly ritual for me to promote other artists and show cool work of other people and all that. Yeah, exactly. Like you'll see most of the tech art stuff out there is just math and code, and all that is can be used to make like beautiful scenes and create images and combine them with artistic principles to have like really pretty results and great experiences. And yeah, this day and age, you can't really have any game or any interactive experience without having some shaders accompany the experience, because you would need, I don't know, you would need some VFX to enhance the feelings you want. You would need some custom effects to better communicate some gameplay elements. That's why I thought that it was like a necessity for people to learn about shaders, because I find myself noticing the real world a lot. And essentially, tech art, you end up having to recreate a lot of real world elements, a lot of real world stuff, and make them in your game. But the thing is that, because we have limited resources, or maybe just because we want to achieve some stylization or anything, we have to pick certain really key characteristics of what we want to make.
Yeah.
And focus on that. So, it's crazy if you think about how we can make stylized water, for example, because in real life, you can tell water because it has like the reflection, and it has like the caustics and the refractions and all the weird light interaction, which you can't do in real time. Well, but we can make stylized water by, hand picking certain things that, make you say, oh, okay, this is water and it's not wood. And pinpointing that those little details that make things what they are is something so I don't know. It's like a constant brain exercise for me to see something and see like, okay, this is like a water ripple. Why does it look like that?
Yeah.
It's essentially like an impressionistic approach. So we don't want obviously to give always like the image of the real water and like all its actual physical properties. We just want to give the impression that this is water. start building with like the different building blocks you have to, make something beautiful. And as you're making, you can add stuff or remove stuff, and see what sticks. So I think it's a neat process to also show like step by step. So I also like to do some streaming every week, working on either like a game I'm making, a side project I'm making, or currently I'm working on a grass rendering tool. And I find that when you're showing the creation of a shader or shader effect live, it's still interesting because you get to see all the different elements come together and how you combine them with either like post-processing or like other models and other visual elements. It's also interesting that how like making a shader effect, it can also take you like other places as well. And you might want to try out like something on top and you see it working or not working. You can see how it can all affect like the overall feel. So right now I'm working on a grass system, right? It's a grass.
Cool.
It's a system for scattering grass and for rendering grass. And I've also served some scenes that I have made working with it. But I really enjoyed it, not because it can look pretty, which it can. But I also really enjoy working on it because I try to think, what will somebody else who's gonna use it, what would they need? How can I make it like extendable so they can make their own grass meshes or their own shaders that they might want to use. So it's a nice intersection of coding, because it's not just shader code, it's all like in Unity and in C#. So there's a lot of editor coding to make some nice UI and UX for people to use the tool. There's also code for efficient rendering on how it's scattered and how you can add or remove points. And then there's the layer of actually generating geometry, which is using compute shaders, which is also like fun to work with. And then there's also the visual of adding I don't know, the grass swaying in the wind or like playing with colors or recently I implemented terrain blending so that you can scatter grass and it takes the color of the terrain underneath so that it looks more grounded. So thinking of stuff to add and then adding those stuff in like a system and seeing them all work, I think that's when I have the most fun. And probably even when we end up like this call, I'll probably jump back in and implement more stuff. And the plan actually for this system is to also make it free and available for artists everywhere, just publicly available. I want people to have like the opportunity to have nice grass in their games and in their scenes.